MTDCNC would like to welcome Prima Power. Barry, it is a pleasure to have you here in the studio. Now, your portfolio is absolutely massive. We're not going to have time to cover all of it, but let's cover some of the key areas that you provide to industry. Why is your product portfolio so huge?
Right, well, basically that's because we started out in 3D laser processing back in the late 1970s. Our first machine into that sector was for the automotive industry. And then we cascaded that technology out into other elements of sheet metal processing on the 2D laser side of things. And of course, that's not all that's done with sheet metal. So we have grown and grown and grown over the years, taking on board other companies that complement our product technologies. They've become part of the Prima group. So we now have a massive portfolio to do just about anything with sheet metal processing.
Yeah, you've kind of diversified and picked up the specialists along the way, grown together. And what really attracted yourself to Prima Power is the technology and the fact that they're so ahead of their time.
Yes, yeah. It blew me away when I first saw the product portfolio because they have got such an immense product range, but also a huge technology, very, very innovative, always driving forward, always looking for the next solution. And when you see the machines that we produce, that really is very, very evident.
We are going to see some of those. So we're going to be covering laser, punching, bending, and one I see a lot of in the industry, which is additive. So let's kickstart with the laser technology that you bring to industry.
Yes, so basically, as I said, we started out with the 3D lasers first, and they went into the automotive industry. Of course, that's possibly one of the most demanding sectors you could want to go into.
Good. You started high.
Started high, yeah, and that's because you need to have high levels of accuracy, high levels of performance, and of course reliability. You can't stop the automotive industry.
No.
And then we went into 2D lasers, which is basically sheet metal processing for flat parts. And then once you've done those flat parts, you might want to do other processes, for example, producing punching and other forms, different thicknesses of material. So that's really where we started out. It was on the laser side of things and then complemented that product range.
And so you've diversified, of course, into different industries. So where do we see these products? Where can we see them out and about?
Literally everywhere you look. If it's made out of thin sheet metal, then it's going to be everywhere, from your car, your fridge, your washing machine, when you go to the supermarket and there's the big refrigeration units, anywhere with air conditioning, your central heating boiler, literally anything made out of sheet metal. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next area then, which is punching. We have actually filmed some technical corners with yourself, so keep an eye out on the channel if you want to kind of look in a little bit more detail into all of these areas. Right then, punching.
Yeah, punching again. That's another element where we work with a very, very specialised company, which was formerly known as FinPower. It's now part of the Prima Power Group. They are, again, incredibly innovative, and we have a range of punching machines that do not only punching, but also forming and marking, roll forming, tapping, just about anything where you would want to put a feature onto the sheet metal. A little bit like that part you're holding there.
Right.
Servo-electric technology, and complemented not just with the ability to punch and form, but also if customers need to do something else on that same piece of material, for example, a radial form like this one, or where we're wanting to cut a radius arc like that and not want to punch it, we can complement the machine by putting a laser head on it on the same machine. So we're not talking about two processes anymore, it's all done on the same machine. Or if it's a more square part, we can put a shear unit on there and create completely blanked squared pieces ready for the next part of the process.
After speaking to Barry this morning and finding out quite a lot about the company, your technology has just grown and grown and grown. And what maybe people in their minds used to think was this area, you have just grown into diversifying and automating processes.
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah. So everything we do is on the basis that we can, the machinery is modular, so we can actually automate it. We can add automation on, or we can supply it with automation, and that automation can be anything from literally raw materials into a skeleton full of pieces back out again, to picking parts and stacking them, passing them on to the next part of the process. and storing materials. So we do these massive storage systems. The night train, for example, is this huge multi-tower storage system configured around the customer's requirements to feed the machinery.
It's so interesting because we talk about automating all the time, and you've got it set within your machine.
Absolutely.
Let's move on then to bending, something I certainly can't do at the moment.
Bending. So with the bending side of things, of course, when you've processed the flat pieces, when you've been laser cutting them or you've been punching them or shearing them, the next step is, for a lot of parts, is they're going to have to be bent. Now, that bend could be, you know, if it's something like this cabinet that's stood in front of us, we're making drawer units. We have two technology levels that we can offer. We can offer panel benders, which are for more automated, high volume applications, or of course press brakes. And press brakes are the way that everybody recognises for bending sheet metal. We can do both technologies, and with either one of them we can automate those processes as well. So with press brakes we can automate the tool changes, we can automate the actual loading and unloading using robotics, taking them straight from one of our other machines, our punch or our shear, or we can build the whole thing into a complete production line, including the panel benders. So literally it's raw materials in, finished parts out.
Fantastic. Let's move on then. Additive. This is something we're seeing more and more in the industry, but I think what you've got here is a USP, and more so, is the size of the parts and components that you can produce.
Yeah, so we have two additive technologies. We can do powder bed fusion and we can do laser metal deposition. The thing with the way we've grown into this, for a start, is basically because we already know what we're doing with lasers.
Yes.
So it's a natural state of evolution, and our customers, because we work across all of the different sectors, do get into this sphere as well. So we have the powder bed fusion machines, and we also have the laser metal deposition machines. The LMD machines, basically, because of the way that the technology works, i.e. using a powder that is sprayed at the focal point of the laser, basically means we can adapt it onto our existing 3D lasers. So we can,
almost like you had the goods already.
Absolutely.
And it just was a natural, like you say, a natural progression.
So we can put that straight onto a machine that's, for example, 2 meters by 4 meters by 1 meter, and use that for the repair process or building process on very large parts.
And service and support, that's huge for yourselves.
Yes, it is. And it's part of the group philosophy about always being by our customer's side. Because we work in the automotive industry and aerospace, basically we have to give that level of support. It's an inherent part of what we do, and so of course that benefits all of our customers. Rapid reaction, care packages to look after the machinery right the way through its life. All of our machinery is Industry 4.0 standard. So we also offer, alongside that, all sorts of levels of software, basically for programming, but also for machinery management.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely.
This company is massive. Is it something like on nearly every continent you've got a visibility?
Yeah, we're right around the world. We've got multiple manufacturing sites in Europe, in the USA, in Asia. We're a big company. So yeah, we're well used to supporting right the way around the world. That's what we do.
We're so happy to have you on board. Barry, quite a difficult question, you might think or not. Are you the best at what you do, and why?
I would argue absolutely, definitely. And if I take my Prima Power hat off for a minute and think of it from an external point of view, yeah. There is definitely a massive product range, huge forward thinking, very dynamic company that is the best, in my opinion, of what we do. And it's all to do with technological innovation, development, never looking back, always looking forward.
Right. Fantastic, great answer as well. You can put the hat back on now as well.
Back on now.
Don't forget, we've got the technical corners as well. So if you're interested in any of those areas and then some, keep an eye out on the MTDCNC website.